Hi everybody, this is Tanya from S19E5. I wanted to review Sister Wives Season 19, Episode 5 today. This one is called The Year of Release. I did take some notes because I don't want to forget anything. It just talks about, in the beginning, it's kind of a review of Mary talking about she's going to ask for a release from their marriage to Cody, from her marriage to Cody, from the AUB religious leaders. And then Robin and Cody, or Robin and Christine, it reviews them visiting with the twins at McKelty's house with Ace and Archer. Those are the babies. It was kind of interesting to me that Robin, when she was talking about the whole experience with the twins in the first few days after they were born, and she was helping McKelty and Tony, she said it was a very sweet experience. She really enjoyed it and she was glad it happened. But then Christine, you know, when we saw the video of them together, she seemed like she was okay with Robin. She was trying to make conversation with her. Robin was very like short answers and she wasn't very engaging or anything like that. And Christine was just like, it was pretty awkward for me. So it made me kind of wonder, you know, they're still having a hard time getting past all of the bad blood, I think. But maybe it just takes time. Could be a few years. Who knows how long it takes to kind of get past their issues and get on with caring for the children and the grandbabies. Starts out with Cody and Robin going to visit the twins. So I guess Saul and Ari, when Ace and Archer were born, Saul and Ari were still in school, so Cody was staying there to take care of them while Robin came and helped McKelty. So then now this is probably a couple weeks or a few weeks later, and they're going up to visit the twins and have a good time with them. Cody talks about McKelty and Tony, how they still get along with him and Robin, and he's very appreciative of that. He talks about how much he really likes Tony, and he's like, oh yeah, and McKelty's good too. So I kind of think that even though McKelty's trying to reach out and have a relationship with Cody, I think Cody still has a hard time getting past that one fact that McKelty is Christine's biological daughter. So, but I watched Tony and McKelty on Patreon, and it seems like they still try to get along and they still have a relationship. And I think McKelty said they talk to Cody and Robin every couple of months or something like that on the phone. So they're still trying to keep that tie. And my hat's off to McKelty for trying her best. Cody seems like a very difficult father to try to, get along with. Robin mentions, so Robin said something that I caught. Like, I watched the episode a couple times, and I just caught it on the second time. She says basically like, yeah, I think McKelty sees more of the truth of the situation. And is that her indicating that Christine saying things like lying to McKelty about what happened? McKelty was there. McKelty saw what happened. McKelty saw that Cody was not visiting with Truly and Isabel when Isabel was there, that he didn't go with Christine and Isabel to the surgery. He didn't provide for them at all. It doesn't seem like they were just kind of adrift, like out on their own. And Cody did his thing with Robin, and then Christine was doing her thing with her kids. So it's very frustrating that Cody cannot see it. But Cody talks about having the big house he's like, hey, why don't you, McKelty and Tony, move to Flagstaff and I'll buy this big house, and then we can have other people come and visit us in this big house and stuff. And McKelty's like, no way, heck no, I ain't doing that. And can you imagine, like, she doesn't want Cody controlling her life. Why would she want that? She saw what he did to everybody else. Why would she want to be put in the middle of that? She's close to Christine at the time. She's moved since then to, was it North Carolina or whatever? But at this time, she's only a few miles away from Christine, so she has her mom there who has taken care of them all their lives. So why would she want to move away from that to this place where she would probably hardly ever get to talk to her dad? He's too busy doing other things. I doubt that he would make the time to come over to McKelty's house to visit with them, but unless it was like right next door. That I might could see, like when they lived in the with the houses all together. He did visit more often there, but if it's anywhere where he'd have to like get in the car and drive to go see them, it would not happen. I guarantee it. Anyway, so then Cody talks about that he missing the family, and I was wondering, like, or he's missing the whole big picture, the whole big family. And I was just kind of wondering, like, if you miss it so much, why did you like let it just dissipate? It just got let go. You ghosted half or 3/4 or whatever of your family. So it's all his own fault, and I don't understand why he can't see that. So I wondered, like, did he actually miss the people, the family, their individual personalities, that kind of thing, or did he miss the attention and the, I'll talk about it a little bit more later, where he talks about, I did not say that I wanted to be a patriarch. He did. He was mad at the time, and it may have just slipped out, whatever, but he did say that. Anyway, I was wondering if he misses being that overlord or whatever you want to call it, and I think that's what it is personally. But I think like 15 years ago it would have been different, like when he was younger and he was a really good dad to all of them. I think that answer would be different. I think he would have like missed the family, but in the last few years he's just like let them go, and he has not nurtured the individual or even the group's relationship. So then they're talking about McKelty, and this I've seen this on other channels too. They're talking about McKelty talking about eating her placenta, that I guess her midwife thought that it had good nutrients, and this is what you should do to be healthy and these kinds of things. So after like listening to a few other people talk about this and being grossed out, I'm in the healthcare field, so it's like whatever, it doesn't bother me. I can like look at it, and they showed a picture of the bite that McKelty took out of it, or you see her teeth marks or whatever. It doesn't bother me. I've seen all kinds of blood and guts and all the things. So I'm like, okay, whatever, that's your thing, sure. I would not do it because it seems yucky to me. Even though I've seen it, I wouldn't do it. But I did look it up. I looked it up, like, is there any good benefits that is proven, there's evidence to doing this. So per Mayo Clinic, and you can go on their website and put in placentophagy. I have a hard time saying medical terms, but basically eating your placenta. It actually says that it can be harmful. And it says that the U.S. Centers for Disease warned against taking the capsules because they had an incident where there was an infant that got Streptococcus B when the mom was ingesting these capsules. So the mom got infected from the capsules. They tested the capsules. The capsules were tested positive for Streptococcus B. Mom got it from eating it, and then the baby got it. So with this particular bacteria, it can turn into meningitis. So if you don't know what meningitis is, that's when it can affect can get into the spinal fluid, and it can cause a lot of neurological and musculoskeletal, all kinds of problems like that. You can get really bad infection, and it can change like mentation and things like that if not treated appropriately. So they are very clear that there's no evidence to support that this is good for postpartum depression either. So if in my world of medical, when I'm looking up whether I should do something with people, with patients, I want to have that backed up evidence, because if anything ever came back, why did you do this? Well, you can say, I was reviewing this article from this reputable source, American Medical Association, American Heart Association, American Stroke Association, American Cancer, any of these reputable sources. I saw this is the guideline. This is what is recommended from all the medical experts and the research experts from the country. And this is why I did it. So Mayo Clinic is saying it is not recommended. It is actually, there's no evidence for it at all. It's not even suggested. So you can't, we used to have like level 1A, 1B, 2A, 2B, C, all these different levels of research evidence. Now, to make it simple for other people or people that are not in medical or research, they say, is it recommended? Is it suggested? Is it not suggested? Or are you totally against it? So this basically is like, we're totally against it. It's not even up in the middle ground, like you can try it or not. Is not recommended, and most hospitals that I know of do not provide this service, so I'm kind of surprised that this one did. But there, I did look and see that there was like one hospital somewhere that they provide the service that you can get the placenta. I don't know if they clean it somehow that it doesn't have these bacteria, or if they give it antibiotics or something like that. So to me, that kind of like defeats the purpose of it being natural and holistic. But they charge for it, like some odd $1,000 probably to eat your own placenta, which, by the way, is self-cannibalism, I think. But I'm not going to judge McKelty poorly, because I just feel that she got bad information. And apparently it came from Robin, so who's surprised about that? Because Robin was like, oh, I was the first in the family to do that because my midwife said that it was a good idea. So it was not. Not to be against midwives. There are a lot of really good midwives, as long as they practice under the appropriate guidelines, like I said, by the best evidence-based research and medical associations, then sure. But when it's blatantly saying, don't do this, then it's a bad idea. Okay, and then Christine introduces David and says how beautiful his eyes are, and she just thinks he's the sweetest thing. And she was telling him, I was practicing polygamy, I left, and all these things. And he's like, oh yeah, my sisters practice polygamy, so it's not that big of a deal. And she's like, well, are you going to practice? And he's like, oh no, So it doesn't seem like he believes in it, but he has family members that do. And he doesn't seem to have a judgment against it, so that's good. I was thinking, and like I've watched some other ex-polygamy channels like Amanda Ray and Growing Up in Polygamy and Cults to Consciousness and all these things, and I was just thinking, like, it's kind of surprises me that Janelle and Christine, when they left, didn't try to go to the LDS religion, like the Latter-day Saints, the mainstream Mormon they call it, because like, especially like Amanda Ray, when they left the DCC or the Kingston clan, they have a hard time like not thinking the way that they were, I don't want to say that word, but the way that they were taught all along while they were little kids up till they were adults. So they instead of like going cold turkey, kind of, they like do like a step down process. Like they'll go to the LDS because it has the same similar beliefs, but they don't believe in the polygamy aspect of it. So I kind of wonder if David, if he's in like LDS, or if him and Christine are going to LDS. They don't really talk about anything like that, and I guess they really don't have to. But it just made me wonder. And then I was wondering if, like, Janelle, she used to be LDS, and then when she married Cody, she went to the AUB, or like more of a fundamental Mormon. And I was just kind of wondering if she is or will go back to the LDS group, or if she's just going to wash her hands of all of it. Because she does talk about, like, oh, I think I would live polygamy. And then sometimes she's like, no, I'm good just being by myself. So I guess we'll see in the next few years if she's still, you know, if the show is still around, whether that happens or not. But we'll see. Then it goes to Janelle and Gabe talking about Cody and the issues with him. Like, he's like, you owe me an apology. And Gabe's like, no, I didn't do anything wrong. You owe me an apology for not talking to me, or, you know, trying to be a father to me for years now. So, they were just kind of like filling each other out. What you think? They were making some food at the time, and they were talking about, like, you know, was it last season when we're watching, Cody was like, can you please give me my 10 lemon slices so that I can put it in my water? Where's my lemon slices? Anybody got my lemon slices? What's taking this place? You know, that kind of thing. He's really mad about his lemon slices, and he's very particular. And then Gabe says he's kind of peculiar. So I'm like, yeah, he is a little bit peculiar. And it makes you wonder if there's other things that he is that he hasn't been diagnosed with. So I think it would be so interesting to be a fly on the wall if he would actually go to a psychiatrist who would tell him what's actually going on with him. And I personally think that he has some kind of behavioral health issue that contributes to this whole mess, especially in the last few years, that has been triggered, and he's just kind of, you know, giving up on everything, and like washing his hands of everybody, and washing his hands of responsibility of his part in it. So Gabe talks about, you know, Gabe told him that he's not going to talk to him anymore until he takes accountability. And then I was a little surprised. Cody actually apparently, you know, took a little bit of time and thought about it. And he's like, okay, I forgive you if you forgive me. And that's problematic, because Gabe's like, I'm the kid. What do I have to be? What do you need forgiveness? What do I need forgiveness for? Because I didn't do anything. I was trying to have a conversation and try to get things straight, and then you just kind of pushed me away and wouldn't even let me, you know, get this figured out. So Gabe is basically at the point where he is ready to just let Cody go and just, you know, not have anything to do with him. And, you know, as a kid, that's really hard to just let your parent go. But Cody has abandoned all of them at this time. You know, in this, and I'll get to this a little bit later, but they talk about how he abandoned Mary for so long, but he, with COVID, abandoned all of them except for Robin's kids and Robin. So that's the definition. He just like didn't go over there. He didn't help provide for them. When he did go over there, they fought, or, you know, he wouldn't spend very much time communicating with them or doing things that they like to do. It was very superficial and very selfish, the things that he did do with them. So that is a big problematic issue that he needs psychiatry for. I 100% believe that. Cody talks about, so I think Gabe said something about, or Gabe or Janelle, one of the two, said something about him wanting to return. You know, he did mention, like in season, was 17 or 18, whichever one, when he was leaving, or Christine was leaving, he was like, I guess we need to all conform to patriarchy. And Janelle's like, I don't remember ever being this being patriarchy. I never signed up for that, never wanted that, we never acted that way. But they bring it up, and Cody's like, I never said that. Well, I may have said that when I was mad about something. So he won't even take accountability for saying, I said that in a fit of anger. I did not mean it. And he should apologize for saying it then. He should have said, I said it, I did not mean it, I apologize, and then how can we fix this? He's so infuriating. It makes me want to beat my head on the wall sometimes, but anyway. Cody talks about, so along the lines of patriarchal, he's like, we've never been patriarchal, but kind of with this religion and the similar religions, the fundamentalist Mormon cultures, the man is like the head of the house, the king of the castle, the one that everybody revolves around, right? He's like the sun, and then everybody else are the planets going around the sun and doing things for Cody. So he's like the king of the castle, and he wanted to be treated that way, and when they stopped behaving that way, then I think he just washed his hands of them. Then it talks about Gabriel says that, and I guess some of the other of Janelle's kids also have heard Cody say the same or similar to this. And even like last season, Cody, well, he said, I wish I hadn't married Mary. He has said, you know, Robin is the love of my life. He has said all these things that were indicated to me that what Gabriel says about him saying he wished he would have waited to get married when he met Robin. He wished he wouldn't have married. So, like, he wished he wouldn't have married Mary, Janelle, or Christine. And he wished he would have just got married to Robin. I absolutely believe that he said something to this effect. Whether it was those exact words or not, I think he said it. And I don't think Gabriel is a liar. I think Gabriel is being very truthful. On the other side of that, when Cody married Mary, they were very young. I think she was 19, he was 21, something like that. And then Janelle and Christine came along pretty quickly, like a year apart, or year after that. And so they were in their 20s, and they had kids that were almost grown by the time that Robin came into the picture. Robin was, 33 or something like that when she married Cody, and then Cody was in his 40s. So I've said it before, I absolutely think that he was going through a midlife crisis when he married Robin. I think he had these women that he'd been with for so long. He wanted something new and different, and he found this girl who, sure, she had some kids. Okay, we'll take it. That's fine. But she's really cute, and she's way young, and I can have more kids with her. And then I have this hot wife, and I can brag to all my buddies in the AUB because I've got 3 women plus this hot wife, right? I think that's what happened. Absolutely. I think that Cody manipulated Robin. I think he made her believe that this pretty picture with his family, it was a perfect situation, and coaxed her into coming into the family. And then I think he's like, nope, this is what the truth is after a couple of years, when she's like, I don't know that she's ever really figured it out, but I don't know how she hasn't. I think because she's the newest one, he's always been more nurturing and spent more time on stuff with her. But I think, see, Ari, I think is like 8. I think in the next 3 or 4 years, it'd be interesting to watch. I don't know if the seasons are going to last that long, but if they do, it'll be interesting to watch and see if, when the kids are older, if he's like, okay, time to look for something different, or I don't want this anymore. Or if Robin realizes that, you know, Cody manipulated her, lied to her basically about the whole situation, and then if she wants to get out of it. It will be interesting. We shall see. Said that. Sorry, I'm just looking at my little paper I wrote down all my notes on, just to make sure. Okay, so in the beginning I said Mary was talking about getting a release from the AUB leaders of the church. Cody basically has said before, And he's saying in this also that he doesn't care what the AUB has to say because they all left the church a long time ago. But they didn't tell us when they left the church. So when was that? So a lot of times when you enter polygamy marriage inside a church, it is probably unlikely that the marriage is going to last because you don't have that religious dictate or expectation, and you don't have, and they, you know, they moved far away. So they moved, I think I said like 11 hours away from their community. So it's really hard to keep up those kinds of relationships, a big group relationship, if you're far away from community support or the social aspect of it. So I'm not sure which came first, if they moved out here and lost their religion, or if they lost their religion and then moved out here. So it'd be good to know if anybody has any ideas on that. Mary mentions that she messaged Cody and let him know about the release, and Cody basically ghosted her. And then I thought it was pretty darn funny because Cody says, yeah, the church leader called me, and he's like, give me a lot of negativity, and I didn't appreciate it, and I don't really need to listen to him, because Mary tells us that they released her on the grounds of abandonment. So apparently Cody doesn't know what the definition of abandonment is. So when you, for 30, so I'm going to say not all 30 years, probably the first few years, he and Mary were probably pretty good off and on, because I know that he had some issues with Janelle. He's had issues with, not so much with Christine, but Mary also. So they were always like in, you know, he was always having some friction with one of the wives or another at some point or time, and getting along with the other ones better than this one for a while. And I know Janelle like left him a couple times, and I'm sure they all have done that before, but anyway, so at some point, at least around the time, possibly at the time that he melted Mary's ring. Remember that last season where Christine said, yeah, he melted her rings, and Christine, she's kind of laughing. She didn't think it was a big deal. It really hurt Mary's feelings, right? But I think about that time, and that's about the time Robin came into the picture, they started dating or something. That, I think, is when he started the abandonment of Mary, because you could kind of see his relationship with Mary splitting apart right there. And then 2 or 3 years later is when Mary's catfishing happened. And I think most of us agree that if Cody had been having an actual marriage relationship with Mary at that time, I don't think that she would have sought out another relationship with the person that catfished her. I think that that wouldn't have happened. So tell me what you think about that. But he was pretty upset that the church members like, yeah, you abandoned her, this wasn't right. And I was so glad to hear that the church leader, even though I don't believe in their religion, he's the one that set out in the beginning, Cody is the one that set out in the beginning to prove how great polygamy was within this religious context. And he proved the opposite. And I am glad that the AUB leader called him and called him out on it and said, you did wrong by our standards. And because he is the father, he is the religious leader among the family, and pretty much like the women are taught that you do what the man says for the most part, he led them astray. Like, he got the women to go outside of the religion. So if you look at it that way, it's his fault that the family, that they split up. So, he talks about, Mary was never loyal to me. Cody says this. And that is a bunch of BS, because how many women would sit around for how many years? So that show was on for like 12 or 13 years before she finally left. So at least that long. How many women would sit for more than a decade not having a relationship with her husband and not go outside or not divorce them or something like that? So to me, that was pretty dang loyal. So I don't see how he says that. Even if she wasn't during that time of the catfishing, she maybe lost her loyalty for that time, but then it came back because she never left him. She never was seen with any other man or anything like that. On the show and in public, I never heard anything about her talking bad about him until they divorced. That's pretty darn loyal to me. He also said he was worried about what she would do. I don't know what, I mean, it's been speculated that people think that he meant talking bad about him and destroying his reputation. So my thought on that is, she has evidence that you did these things or didn't take care of her, didn't have a good relationship with her, and kept her strung along for so many years. You destroyed your own relationship, your own reputation, Cody. So, and then I wondered, okay, so let's see. Janelle said that they were no longer part of the church. Christine was, so she didn't really, she was like, I didn't really feel unnecessary to go to a church leader to get the release because we no longer belong to the church. So, but that's fine for Mary, right? And Christine was like giddy, happy, like, ha ha. I don't belong to that church, but I think it's so awesome that she did that because stick it in Cody's kidney and twist a little bit, right? That's what I think. But Janelle talks about the poor relationship between Cody and Savannah. Savannah, I guess, has told her, like, you know, when I see him every 3 or 4 months, he comes and picks me up, we go do something fun, and then he drops me off, basically. So you don't have that real good, close relationship with your father. So that is very sad. So it's very superficial, and Cody has like no emotional bandwidth, I think. So he has to keep it fun dad, and he doesn't want people to talk bad about him, so he probably doesn't say much to her. He talks about loyalty of the children, Cody does. And when he was talking about the loyalty, I was thinking that the children, even if they're, you know, young adults, they're going to side with the parent that takes care of them, the parent that is loyal to them. So that's the moms in this situation, because you got dad like a little bee going to different houses, and then you got mom that's there, that's solid, that has some you know, has that foundation for them, has, you know, has built a structured environment for them, and then dad is here and he's not structured at all. So who are you going to back up? I would back up my mother if that was the case. Just a thought. And then Gabe talks about, Robin having a victim complex. And I was thinking about this. I'm like, I don't think she has a victim complex. And then I was like watching again. And how many times is she crying on the couch? How many times is she's like, I don't know what happened, but she participated in the destruction of the family, whether she intended to or not. She didn't prevent Cody from doing it. She didn't back up the other wives when Cody was saying so many bad things. She was always on Cody's side. So, and he was talking about how, like, she did it as like a manipulation so that she could get things from Cody, so Cody could be the savior for her. So some people are like that, they pay more attention to the one that needs the most. So maybe Robin was needing the most so that he would help her. And all these other women seem to be pretty stable. So he's like, oh, they're fine. And so then it just snowballed to where he never paid attention to the other three. And then it was all attention to Robin. Cody talked about Gabe being disloyal like Janelle, and then so Gabe said that, and then Cody's like, I didn't say that. That conversation never happened, but I believe it. It's possible that Cody was like in a little temper fit, and as a hothead said it, and then maybe he forgot he said it because he was in a temper at that moment. But I think he did say it, and kids tend to remember things like that and bring it up in the most inopportune times. So Gabe talked about getting counseling at Northern Arizona University, so that's really awesome that he went and made sure that he got that good counseling from them, and I'm glad that they offer that for the kids. But I think all the kids need counseling through this, because this is a very complex situation, and just, you know, expecting dad to fix it is obviously not going to work. So please, if you see this, any of you, please get counseling. Find a good counselor that is on your side and can help you maneuver through this, and accept the fact that your dad is probably not going to have a close relationship with you. It may be possible that he can have a superficial relationship with you, like everything is hunky-dory and fine and dandy and we don't talk about deep things. I think that kind of relationship is possible, but I don't think a really deep relationship like you have with your moms, I don't think that that's going to happen with Cody, because I don't think he has the emotional, what they say, emotional bandwidth for that. At the end, Robin is like sitting, it looks like she's like sitting by a bed, like on the floor or something, and she's crying, and she's talking about, you know, she's having a hard time accepting this, and she doesn't know what went wrong, and all these different things. And I just felt like that was that just demonstrated Gabe's response of her being a victim or having a victim complex. It, you know, defined it right there. So she talks about growing up with polygamy around her, and that's how, you know, her family lived it when she was a little girl. So when she was dreaming, so little girls sometimes dream of getting married and finding the right family and all these things. So in the AUB, they dream about finding the right man that maybe already has a family, or they will develop a big family with multiple wives. So that's what they dream about, apparently. I'm not from that group, so I don't know. But so she's having a hard time letting that go. And she was talking about how beautiful it was when Cody and his 3 wives family, she was watching them like in church and, you know, around town and different stuff like that, and thought it was just so beautiful, and she wanted to join that. And then it just, you know, dissolved basically. So my question also is, did Robin actually leave the faith? Did Cody tell her she left the faith and she hasn't? Is that why she's in so much turmoil about this? And Cody is like trying to push her, like, you need to get over it right now because I'm over it, so let's be over it, both of us, because this is ridiculous. And is Cody, if she doesn't get over it pretty quick, is Cody going to be upset with her and leave her too? Or have her leave or whatever? So I kind of wonder if she quit the faith also, or if she's still holding on to it kind of on the down low. And then, yeah, so I mentioned earlier, like, when did they leave the AUB? Was it in Vegas? Was it in Flagstaff? Was it when COVID happened? And did Cody dictate to them that they were leaving the AUB? Did they all decide that Cody is terrible at polygamy and they left because he was demonstrating how terrible it was? I don't know. When did this happen? So if anybody knows when they all left polygamy, I mean, sorry, not polygamy, but the AUB, the actual religion, I would like to know that. And then it goes into Christmas, and Mary is talking about she doesn't want to go over there with Cody and Robin because Cody has said before that he can't show affection, and I'm not a big PDA person anyway, so I can't imagine like if somebody's there. If I have a bunch of family, if I have a bunch of kids, I mean, other than a peck on the cheek or something, how much PDA are you going to show? It's not going to make somebody uncomfortable. That's just stupid. It's stupid. It's a poor excuse. And I think I think Cody appreciates the excuse so he doesn't have her over there. But I don't blame Mary one bit for not going. I think she would just be the third wheel and it would be awkward and uncomfortable, and why put yourself through that? Okay, and then Cody, yeah, so then also with Cody saying that he wanted Robin to just kind of get over it, and that they moved from the faith, and did she move away, or he made her, or she hasn't and she's keeping it from him? I don't know, but I wonder too, like right now Robin is playing his game and doing what he says and being a obedient wife. When Saul and Ari are older, is that going to change? Is she going to like show her true feelings, or is Cody going to kind of get over the relationship with her because she doesn't seem to believe the same way he does? I just wonder if that will change in the next few years. And we don't know if we're going to have seasons 20, 21, 22, whatever, when Ari will be old enough to know if Cody changes his mind as the kids get older, because that seems to be what happened with the other families. He seemed to be a really good father when they were little bitty, and then when they were like preteens, teens, he was like, I don't care about you anymore, so have fun with that, right? So anyway, that's my review and my thoughts on Sister Wives season 19 episode 5. If you guys have any comments, I'd love to hear them. Please share, like, subscribe. I appreciate it. You guys have a great week, and we'll try to see you next week. And I will also watch Tony and McKelty and get their perspective, which, you know, I think that's tomorrow for this episode. So I'll let you know what they say. Have a great week. Take care.